I rise today to invite my colleagues. Join me in strengthening two of our nation's key founding principles: checks and balances and the rule of law. Join me in uplifting the idea that every person and institution within a government is subject to the same set of rules. Rules established by, reviewed by, and enforced by three co-equal branches of government. Join me because these principles are under assault. None of us should accept it as normal practice that a president, any president, use their executive pardon power to absolve convicted drug kingpins, those found guilty of violently attacking law enforcement officers, and even a money laundering crypto magnate with ties to the president's family business. Yet, this is exactly what President Trump has done. On his first day back in office, President Trump pardoned 1,500 people involved in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Since then, he's pardoned or commuted the sentences of nearly 90 others. Just recently, he added former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez to that list. Hernandez was serving a 45-year prison sentence for conspiring to smuggle more than 400 tons or 4.5 billion doses of cocaine into the U.S. Hernandez was also convicted of accepting bribes from violent drug cartel members to fuel his political career, shielding them from prosecution in exchange for their bribes. And earlier this year, President Trump granted clemency to a drug dealer responsible for putting more than 1,000 kilograms of cocaine onto Baltimore's streets. A federal agent described the defendant as, quote, one of the largest cocaine and heroin dealers to be arrested by DEA in recent history. President Trump is using the pardon power not to correct injustices, but to absolve convicted criminals simply because he can. He has yet to offer a compelling reason for any of these clemency cases. These abuses are especially pronounced under this administration, but they are certainly not unique to one party. Throughout history, Democratic and Republican presidents have used clemency to reward allies and shield those close to them. After the Civil War, President Johnson issued sweeping pardons for more than 13,000 former Confederates. President Clinton pardoned his half-brother, who was also serving time for drug trafficking. President Biden pardoned his son, who was convicted on gun charges and who had pleaded guilty to tax-related charges. Some presidents, including Presidents Trump and Biden, have issued preemptive pardons before prosecutors even had a chance to present their case in court and before the public had any opportunity to weigh the facts. It has to stop. These abuses erode trust in our democratic system. They undermine the notion that all laws apply to all Americans. They lack the checks and balances envisioned by our nation's founders. They are now far too common and far too brazen. We must do something about it. That's why I'm introducing a straightforward constitutional amendment, one that adds balance and accountability to the pardon system by giving Congress the ability to review and overturn presidential pardons and commutations. Under my proposal, members of Congress could petition for review of pardons and overturn them with a 2/3 supermajority in the House and Senate. This amendment intentionally sets a fairly high standard. The goal is not to eliminate the president's pardon power, but to encourage presidents to think twice before issuing outrageous pardons. Should egregious cases persist, it gives Congress the ability to intervene. As ethically questionable pardons have become increasingly common, it's no surprise that public trust in government is near an all-time low. According to the Partnership for Public Trust, only 1 in 3 Americans have confidence that their elected officials are acting in the public's best interest. 2/3 believe the federal government is corrupt. One way to improve public trust is to stop the most brazen abuses of clemency. No more get-out-of-jail-free cards for the wealthy and well-connected. The time to act is now. I ask you to join me in my efforts, and I yield the balance of my time.